It's Speak It Thursday, and it's your girl Shuli. I am back for another conversation. Tonight, we want to talk about money, right? Everybody talks about securing the bag, securing the bag, securing the bag. What does that even mean these days? What I know it to mean is making sure that your financial house is in order. And one of the ways you can do that, of course, you can save, you can work, you can have your business, and you can also invest. And one of the talks has been cryptocurrency. And so tonight we want to figure out what this is, how do you purchase it, what do you use it for? We have questions. So go ahead and let's get ready to speak it. Come in, take your virtual seat, drop your city. I see we have Rosenberg, Texas in the house. Welcome, Texas. And I know Chelsea Mack is an investor. So make sure you share this. Bring your friends in, bring your family in. So that way they can also learn how they can secure the digital bag in this case. Our guest tonight is I'm excited. You know, I do my deep sigh, my deep breath when I'm just like, this is big. It's a big show. We have Mr. Aleister Mckenzie. He is the leader of the Crypto Club with Earn Your Leisure University. And without further ado, we're going to bring him on and start the conversation. Hi, Aleister. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Shuli?
I'm doing well, really, really well. I'm so glad you could come on tonight, joining. We have Texas in the house. We have people from Baytown. We have Rosenberg, and I know two people on. They are definitely crypto enthusiasts. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So we'll jump right into the conversation. What is the conversation you feel like we need to have right now as a Black community as it relates to cryptocurrency?
I would say the most important conversation as a whole is really thinking about crypto as a long-term investment. I think over the past, I would say, year, there's been a lot of hype around crypto. And because of that, people have gotten into this sort of quick flip mentality. But with crypto, you have to think about it in the same way you think of like real estate and stocks. You want to hold it for several years and not just worry about the quick flips, even though everywhere we turn on social media, we might see these stories of people becoming millionaires just by purchasing, specific cryptocurrencies and flipping it. But it's always better to be a long-term investor.
Yes. And so you're saying hold it for long term. Can you give us a number? I've heard different things. I've heard people say 10 years and I've heard people say for longer. Do you have a particular time frame that you consider?
Ideally, as long as possible, but the minimum I would say for anyone is 4 years, or in crypto terms, I would say one Bitcoin halving. And I'll get into what that means a little later. But
Yeah.
I mean, 4 years is a good time frame because that's around the time period that a cycle tends to happen, or that we've seen historically.
Okay. And that's so interesting that you say historically. So what does that history look like for the people who don't know? What is cryptocurrency and how did it even get started?
Sure. So cryptocurrency, what it's called, cryptocurrency was started in 2009 by an anonymous person, Satoshi Nakamoto. And that's when he created Bitcoin. But even before that, there was a lot of development before Bitcoin even came to be in cryptography and math that all came together at that one point in 2009 when Satoshi Nakamoto released Bitcoin. And it came around because this person, Satoshi, was worried about the future of the financial system, particularly the money that, that was continually being printed by central banks around the globe. And that was one of the first messages he posted in the Bitcoin network, was about the German central banks doing another bailout. So it all was created for the purposes of being a better, more stable, more secure financial system than the one that currently exists.
Okay. And so how do you think it's doing since its inception?
I think it's doing pretty well. I think that the amount of use cases has blossomed to the point where, like, even the term cryptocurrency, I think it's a good term, but only for specific assets within that class, because
Okay.
there are so many different use cases uh, when you look at crypto, and a lot of them are not meant to be currency, but they are still crypto assets.
And that's the part I think that gets confusing to people. And I know for me, it's something that I'm trying to learn, like, yeah, use case. So I just really learned about that, and that you could read a white paper and like figure out all of this kind of information. So can you tell us what's an example of a good use case?
Well, there's several. So of course we have Bitcoin, which is, the OG of it all. And right now, I would say that's more of a store of value asset. So some people do use it as currency in terms of day-to-day transactions, but for the most part, it's mostly used as a store of value asset, something that you can borrow against. Um, but in terms of other use cases, you have governance tokens. So a governance token is a token that allows you to vote on a specific proposal within a community. So, and then there's also, different kinds of utility tokens that are used for supply chains. There are tokens that are used to pay for data usage. So, I mean, there's just a lot, even social tokens for social media influencers so that they can monetize their own communities, which is something that's fairly new.
Yeah. I know this thing has just been growing and growing and growing. And so you have that. And so you have crypto. So like you're saying, it's a type of what? So cryptocurrency is the type
Crypto,
of,
so I would say cryptocurrency is an asset class, and cryptocurrencies, me personally, I would classify that as currencies that are more suitable for everyday usage in terms of paying for goods and services. The main class of crypto assets that I would classify as cryptocurrencies would be something called stable coins. And a stable coin is a crypto asset that's pegged to a real world currency. So for example, there's a stable coin called USDC. USDC costs $1. Doesn't fluctuate from that $1 price point because it's meant to be pegged to the US dollar. A cryptocurrency like that is more suitable for everyday use. For example, I have a Coinbase card and I put USDC on my Coinbase card and I use that whenever I want to go shopping, at the supermarkets or anything like that. So that's what I would classify as a cryptocurrency. I wouldn't do that with Bitcoin. I wouldn't do that with Ethereum because to me, it's not suitable for that use case. There are other use cases where those are suitable that I would use them, but not for everyday transactions. So
and that,
it's really important to know like the difference. Yeah.
yeah, that is good because like you said, people were like, how do you even use it? And I had this conversation when I was telling a friend that I was interviewing you. And of course, he's from France and he was just like, yeah, we're a little more safe and Americans tend to take more risk. And his thought was, how do you use it? What sense does it make? He felt like it made no sense. So what would you say to a person who's still pretty skeptical about it, like going into the where we are now and into the future? Like what's the benefit of us investing in crypto?
Well, I would say just look at the returns for the past decade or even the past 5 years. So for Bitcoin, if you look at the past 10 years, it's the best performing asset. If you look at Ethereum in the past 5 years, same thing. It's just one of the top performing assets that you could put your money in. And it's only growing. So it's not like it's slowing down or anything like that. So if you see the type of returns that you can get from investing in crypto, it's just a good place for you to put your money in order for you to grow your money. And in terms of Bitcoin, I look at it like this. You have a home, you can take out a home equity loan and you can do things with that money. Bitcoin is similar. Like I have an asset that I can borrow against if I want to borrow against my Bitcoin to invest and buy a home, if I want to borrow against my Bitcoin and use that to invest in other entrepreneurial endeavors, like it's a digital asset.
Okay. And that's really, really good. So it's a digital asset. And so now let's kind of take it back and break it down. If you had to give us like the ABCs, like what's cryptocurrency versus blockchain? I've heard so let's talk vocabulary a little bit.
Sure. So blockchain is the actual network. So a blockchain is you have a chain of what are called blocks, but within those blocks are lists of transactions that have occurred. And when you have a blockchain, you have miners that add blocks to the blockchain, and you have nodes. Nodes keep records of all of the transactions that have happened on that network. Now, the coin itself is used on that network to pay for transactions or pay transaction fees.
And then so with the coins, so going from that, kind of lead us or navigate us through this conversation. Danielle wants to get into digital wallets. So we're going to stick a pin in that too, like in terms of how to purchase it. So with that, understanding what blockchain is, and then we're talking about Bitcoin and that kind of thing. Where will we go in this conversation if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency or digital currency? So you need to know what blockchain is. You need to know what crypto is. What are some other things or terms that we need to know to have a solid foundation?
Well, wallet is definitely one of them.
Okay.
You should definitely know what a wallet is, the different kinds of wallets, and the benefits of using one type of wallet over another.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. Get into it then. So,
sure.
Wallet. Let's do it.
Sure. So, most people, when they first buy cryptocurrency, well, I'll start from the beginning. So if you want to buy cryptocurrency, you have to find an exchange. Well, that's how most people originally get into it. So there are several exchanges that you can use. Coinbase is a very popular one. Gemini, Binance is another popular one. And these exchanges are where you can go to buy whatever cryptocurrency you're interested in. Some of them hold more types of cryptocurrency than others, but they're all very good places for you to go and get started. So you go to the exchange and you sign up, you add your bank account information. And once your bank account information is verified, you can go ahead and make a purchase. And after you purchase whatever cryptocurrency you desire, you can either keep it on the exchange, which some people do, or you can take it off of the exchange. And this is different from like stocks and Fidelity. Like, I don't know many people who are taking their stocks off of Fidelity. They may transfer it from one company to another. They might go from Fidelity to E-Trade or something like that, but hardly anyone is holding stocks within their own custody. And that's one of the differences, I would say, when you're coming into this space. Just know that there is also self-custody, meaning that you can hold your own coins. And so getting back to the wallets. So you already bought your crypto, you have it on the exchange, but let's say you want to self-custody, meaning you want to hold it on your own. You don't want to have it on the exchange. One thing that you can do, one thing I recommend everyone to do, is to buy a hardware wallet. And a hardware wallet is it's sort of like a USB or some sort of, it's like a piece of electronics that holds the wallet itself. So let me go deeper into it. So the wallet, you can think of it as like you have your key and that wallet is the vault. So when you create the wallet, there's a public key and a private key. That public key is what allows you to get into the wallet. That's like the key to the vault. And the vault is where you keep your crypto. So you have to make sure that you have the public key, which is where people would send you, use that public address where people can send you cryptocurrency. And then you have the private key, The private key you have to keep safe and secure, because if you lose that private key, you lose all of your crypto. So very important. And that's also a reason why some people choose not to keep their cryptocurrency on an exchange, because you don't have control of that private key. And it's very important to keep control of that private key.
Okay.
And so if you want to transfer your funds, all wallets come with an address. So going back to the exchange example, you're on the exchange, you want to transfer your funds off of the exchange. What you would do is you would go to the exchange, you hit withdraw, or whatever button they have is usually called withdraw. You put in the wallet address that you got from your hardware wallet, and you send the cryptocurrency from the exchange to the hardware wallet. Now those coins are in your custody, they're in your control, they're your responsibility. You have to make sure you keep that private key safe, because that private key is the key to the vault. And that vault is where you hold all of your crypto assets. And that's the most secure way to hold your crypto assets, is in that hardware wallet.
So then that answers, go ahead.
Well, there are also, well, yeah, that answers part one of the question. There is also wallet extensions that you can use in your browser. If you have the Chrome browser, there's also wallets that you can install in your Chrome extensions. Those are a little bit less secure, but the benefit to those wallets is that you're able to use it on Web3 platforms. And Web3 platforms or websites are sites that are connected to the blockchain, versus your Web2 websites like Facebook, Twitter, that are not really connected to the blockchain. So just to give you a quick breakdown of wallet.
Yeah. So I was thinking, Danielle asked, how important is it to own your keys? And essentially it is very important to own your keys, like you said. And then you talked about types of wallets. Do you have any recommendations for a type of hardware wallet to purchase?
Yes. So Ledger is a really good hardware wallet. Ledger, Ledger. So you can go to ledger.com to find that one. Okay. It's the most popular hardware wallet. Trezor is another really good one. That's Trezor, Trezor. Those are the two that I recommend anyone to start out with.
Okay, so then you purchase on the exchange, like a Coinbase, a Binance, or Gemini. I noticed you did not say Robinhood, because why?
So Robinhood is different because you're not allowed to withdraw your cryptocurrency. But I did see some news today that they are creating a wallet on Robinhood, so you will be able to withdraw your cryptocurrency. But for the time being, that option is not possible. So you don't own the cryptocurrencies themselves. So that if you really want to do long term, then that's not good. But if you're just trading, then maybe it's not that big of an issue for you. But for long term, you definitely want to be able to take it off the exchange.
Okay. And I had trouble, I think when I first got into it, I can't even think of the wallet that I had. I'm telling you, like I told you behind the scenes, that a friend of mine had to purchase it for me because I didn't even know what to do. And I had the wallet, I had my keys, but I purchased it. That was the other thing. I purchased it when I was out of the country, but it was not a wallet, I think, that I could use here in the US. And so when I tried to put my keys in, I could not do it. So he had to take my money off and then transfer it. And I transferred it to Coinbase. So can you talk a little bit about that, like trouble that people might run into with these different ones, or all the ones you listed good for the US? Or do you have to have a VPN or?
No. So the ones that I've listed, you can use in the US because they're hardware. It's not like you're like using a wallet that's, like what is called a hot wallet, where sometimes those restrictions might be put on there, or like an exchange where definitely there's restrictions based on where you live. So with the Ledger and the Trezor, you go to the sites. Don't get it from Amazon. You want to go to the sites because you want to make sure you're getting it from the source, because if you get it from Amazon, it may be fake. Somebody may have already compromised that wallet. So if you try to put your your coins on there, they have all the information they need to take it away from you. So always go to the actual site. You want to go to Trezor's actual site and Ledger's actual site to get the wallets. But there is no no restrictions in terms of geography. And those two wallets are very user friendly. So for new users, it's the step-by-step process is very easy for most people to follow.
Okay, good stuff. And Danielle wants to know, what companies allow you to keep your private key?
So if you are getting from an exchange, like the ones that I've listed, Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, Kraken is another one. They allow you to withdraw your crypto. Now, you don't own the private keys, but they allow you to withdraw, which is very important, which makes it different from Robinhood, where you're not allowed to withdraw at all. It's pretty much just an IOU. So, excuse me. None of them allow you to keep your keys, but they allow you to withdraw. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And then if it's been sitting, so like you said, I've had some crypto sitting in Coinbase. And so the longer it sits and it's not in the wallet, would you say that it's more at risk as long as it's sitting on the exchange? Talk about that.
Yeah, possibly. One thing I recommend, a lot of people say take all of your money off the exchange. I wouldn't say you have to take all of your money off of the exchange, but if you really want to keep it safe and here are two scenarios where I'd say keep it on an exchange. If you know you are not very good with passwords or keeping things safe, if you lose stuff regularly, it's probably best for you to keep it on an exchange, because I don't want you to buy the wallet, send it to the wallet, forget your keys, and you just lost your wealth. So, but if you are a person who is good with keeping track with things, then you still want to keep some of it on exchange, just in case you want to. Let's say you want to trade it, or you want to be able to sell or take out a loan, or something to that nature. Like, I keep some on an exchange just in case I want to take out a loan for something, because I don't want to transfer it off of my wallet into the exchange. So, but I don't keep most of my assets on the exchange.
Okay. So this is all good stuff. And then in terms of a beginner, so we know where we can purchase it, and you talked about how you can use it. And you said you shop with yours. How do you know? Do you just kind of look it up, or you only shop at places that accept it, or kind of talk about the US?
Yeah. So Coinbase has a debit card now, and you can put crypto on the debit card so that you can spend it. Because it's a debit card, it's Visa. Anywhere you can use Visa, you can use the card. So supermarkets, restaurants, gas stations, wherever you would normally use your debit card, you can use the Coinbase card. And with the Coinbase card, you're spending crypto.
But not your Bitcoin.
Not Bitcoin. Like, I mean, you can if you want to. It's up to you. I personally don't do it because I don't want to spend my Bitcoin when I know that it's going to increase in value, and I can do so much more with the wealth that's accumulated in that Bitcoin. So I usually just use stable coins, which is just $1. So that's how I tend to use that card.
Okay. Indeed. So then with that said too, we've used Bitcoin, you've mentioned Ethereum. And so for someone who doesn't know, can we talk a little bit about the types of coins, and what's you talked about stable coin, like the meme coins versus a coin. I don't want to use the word legit, right? I don't know if we have to even get into that conversation, but there was just like a whole battle when Dogecoin was popping, and you have all these coins that just keep popping up. So can you talk to us about, I'll say it like this, name the top 10 coins that you say, I don't know, that would be, I'll use the word legit. We'll say top 10 legit coins.
There are a couple of coins out there that are legit, And so here's the thing. There are coins that are outright scams. There are coins that somebody just created as an experiment, and there really is no future with it because they were just trying something, not really a scam. They're coins with actual use cases that have not panned out. So they've trying it, but it probably didn't work out the way they thought it would. And then there are coins that have actually found their use cases. So that's how I would break it down. But in terms of a top 10, I think that all depends on what you as the investor like, because things that I may like, you may not like. But one thing I do say is for anybody starting out, you always want to start out with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the two before you get into anything else. And I say that because those are the two safest assets. Those are the two that are less likely to go to zero. And they have a track record behind them. Bitcoin 10 years, Ethereum for the last, 5 or 6 years. So you want to start out with the ones that are established. And then once you have a solid foundation, then you can get into other coins if some of them you find interesting.
Okay. All right. So then top 2 for sure, most stable. So I like that. So safe versus higher risk coins. So can we talk about some of the meme coins and some of the coins that have been trending? So Doge, I'll mention that Doge, or it was Shiba, and some people have different views about Cardano. So talk about those.
Sure. So Doge, I think a lot of people have heard this. It was created as a joke, but the joke just never stopped being, just never stopped. So it's still around. I don't invest in Doge. I like coins so let me just take it a step back. So one class of coins that I do like, I would say, are smart contract platforms. And a smart contract is just some sort of business logic that lives on the blockchain. So it can, you can say, okay, I'm going to put my coins in here, hold these coins for 10 days, and then send them off. You would do that through a smart contract. Or let's say we all want to put our money together. Somebody would come up with a smart contract. We all put our money together in that smart contract. And because we all put our money together, we can go buy something. So smart contract platforms are blockchains that have that functionality. So I really like that specific subset of crypto assets. As a matter of fact, the only crypto assets that are not smart contract platforms that I do like is Bitcoin. In terms of layer 1 blockchains. And what I mean by layer 1 blockchains are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin would be a layer 1 blockchain. These are chains where the network and the coin are, tied together. Like with the Bitcoin network, you have Bitcoin, the Ethereum network, you have Ether. So those are layer 1 blockchains. So those layer 1 blockchains, I like the smart contract blockchains. Now, getting back to Doge, I don't follow Doge really. I don't really find much interesting with it. I mean, if you follow the trends and you know how to follow the trends, you can make a lot of money, because in bull markets, Doge just tend to, have those price run-ups, but it always crashes back down. So I really don't invest in Doge because I'm not really following the volatility. I'm not, trading it that much or at all really, because to me, there's really no utility in Doge other than hoping that somebody accepts it as payment, or hoping that you can sell it to somebody else for a higher price. Compare that to something like Ethereum. Ethereum has decentralized finance applications built on top of that. And decentralized finance has been really big for the past at least year, almost 2 years now. Ethereum has NFTs built on top of it. Ethereum has decentralized autonomous organizations built on top of it, and a host of other different applications. So when I look at something like Ethereum or another smart contract platform that operates similarly versus Doge, which is just I'm going to buy Doge, hope that the price goes up so I can sell it to somebody else, or buy Doge and hope that I can use it to pay for something. When I put those two next to each other, to me, it's just like, okay, I know what I want to invest in out of those two. Shiba is another one. And the funny thing about Shiba is somebody built it on the Ethereum platform. So it's a token on the Ethereum platform. And again, it's the same thing with Shiba. I don't own any Shiba. I don't trade it. I know they were trying to create a decentralized exchange, but there were already a lot of other decentralized exchanges that were better, that all they did was just copy the code or plan on copying the code. I don't even know. I don't follow it that much. And the exchange itself never became anything, at least to my knowledge, because I don't know anybody who trades on it. So I don't get involved in Shiba. Now, Cardano is an interesting one, because Cardano, if you look at the history of it, I mean, some people may not know, but Charles Hoskinson, who was the founder of Cardano, was once a part of Ethereum. He broke away to create Cardano as another smart contract platform. Most recently, we've seen a lot of, price run-ups in Cardano, because even though Cardano does not have it has smart contracts now because they just released it, but before it didn't have smart contracts. It was one of those jokes where people would always say, well, where's the smart contracts? You keep claiming to have smart contracts, you don't, but they have it now. And it's I would say it's very polarizing, because first of all, you have the price increase that's happening over the past couple of months. And of course, on top of that, you also have what's called staking. So staking is it's done on proof of stake blockchains, which I can get into. I don't want to get too deep, but I'll just give you a quick rundown.
That's good, because staking and mining, like those are terms that come up, and gas, like you hear all of this. It's like, oh wow, there's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot. So basically, staking, just to keep it short, is just a way for you to earn interest on your coins. And it earns interest because you are helping to add blocks to the blockchain and help to defend the network. And for that, the network gives you a reward, and that's how you get the interest. So the thing about Cardano is they had the dramatic price increase, and you're also able to stake your coins. And when you use it, to me, like I've used it, it's one of the easier coins to do staking. There's a lot of other proof of stake blockchains where you can stake, but it is, I would say, one of the easiest ones. And there's a lot of contentiousness around Cardano, because even though they have smart contracts, there were like, okay, you can only do one transaction per block with the smart contract, which is not great at all. But there's a lot of technical wizardry behind it, if you read into what the developers say, that allow it to be very suitable for decentralized finance like you see on Ethereum. But we're still waiting to see how that plays out.
Okay. Chelsea Mack wants to know, what exactly is a smart contract?
So a smart contract really is just business logic that lives on the blockchain. So for example, I can say, in 10 days, send this amount of money to this person, or, I can create a smart contract that says, okay, this smart contract is going to hold money. In a couple of days, we're going to use that money to pay to buy an NFT. So smart contracts execute business logic, or, workflows. It's automation on the blockchain.
Got it. All right. And then you mentioned NFT. I know it's like so much. I feel like learning about crypto it's fascinating to me. And it's so much new terminology. And first, I guess, tell us, if you want to learn more, what's a legit way to learn, or a reliable source or resource to go learn more about it? and then also tell us about the mining and that kind of thing.
Okay, sure. So in terms of learning, I would say, I mean, keep up with the news of, what's going on in the industry. CoinDesk is a good place. Decrypt is a good place. Those are two like blogs or news sites. Coinbase actually has some really good educational material that teaches you about different coins and different tokens. Um, Other than that, depending on how deep you want to go, there are, research reports. Glassnode actually puts out weekly research about what's happening on these different well, it's mainly Bitcoin and some Ethereum, but it gives you like an in-depth analysis of, what happened on the network itself, because it's all visible. And that's one thing to understand about the blockchain. All of the transactions are visible, so you're able to see what's happening. You're able to know like what coins move from what wallet to what other wallet. So they're very good at doing that type of analysis. And other than that, there are, YouTube is actually a pretty good place, but I would stay away from, I wouldn't say stay away from, but like there are these YouTube videos where the influencers are just talking about tokens and saying this token is going to, go up 10,000%. I would say take that with a grain of salt. Try to find some YouTubers that actually give quality information that are telling you about new developments within whatever blockchain you're looking into. There's several of them out there. In the Ethereum ecosystem, Bankless is a very good one. The Defiant, which focuses more on decentralized finance. Nifty Culture, which looks at NFTs. So there are several good resources out there.
Okay.
And Invest Answers if you are into trading.
Invest Answers, Bankless, Nifty.
Nifty Culture.
Nifty Culture.
NFT Culture.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Into the crypto, there's a lot. I can provide an exhaustive list if you need
to. Well, that's good. So, I think this is a good intersection too, to drop your information. So what do you have going on to educate people about crypto?
Yeah, sure. So for what I do is I do bi-monthly crypto Zoom calls where we just talk about different industries, different aspects of crypto. And I do that with EYL University. So if you are a member of EYL University, or if you're interested in becoming a member of EYL University, then you get access to those videos. We're actually going to be doing some more videos for people that are not members of EYL, just because we've been getting a lot of demand for people want to be able to soak in all of the knowledge. And from what I understand, when I started doing my videos, it was just like, I'm interested in this. I wanted to talk about it. I didn't expect so many people to really be, to really crave this type of information. But now that we see that there's a demand there, we're going to be releasing videos that everyone has access to. So that's coming very soon, and along with some interviews of people within the industry that are doing really great things.
Yeah, that's dope. I thank you. I definitely appreciate you. And I have jumped on a couple of the calls because of when I started out again, investing was one of those things where I'm like, okay, one lane at a time. I want to learn about investing, but then I already had the crypto. I don't know. I jumped in. I apparently feet first with crypto and then with investing. And I know there's a way you can do it and you can educate yourself, but I don't know. I was out here playing like it was monopoly money, and it's not. And you can really lose your money this way, but I'm appreciative now because it's allowed me to course correct, and I'm learning so much more. So
yeah, it's definitely a learning experience when you get into it.
Yeah, it is. All right, so I have more questions here. So staking, you told us what staking was, but I forgot. Mining. Can you talk about that? What is mining?
So mining is a way to provide security to the network, and you also add new transactions to the blockchain. And when you do that, you receive a reward for doing that. So that's why there are a lot of miners out there, and they do it because they're able to earn cryptocurrency. And that's one of the ways you can earn cryptocurrency without having to buy from an exchange. But with mining, you need you need the right computer equipment, and you need cheap energy. To mine Bitcoin right now, you really need to have to start mining on your own, you really need to have like all of those different factors. You need the cheap energy, you need the computer power. There are group mining, like not projects, but like there's one called Compass Mining where you could invest in a miner and it adds it to another mining group. Mm-hmm. So that's one way to do it. But yeah, just to keep it simple, mining is just a way for you to earn cryptocurrency by defending and providing security to the blockchain and adding transactions to the blockchain.
Yeah, so many levels to this. And so you broke down Shiba, you talked about Doge, and we talked about Cardano, and it sounds like Cardano is making its way.
I lost the audio.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
We hear you. So thank you all for tuning in while he is trying to get his audio back. Drop your questions. If you have more questions, if you have more comments, thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this episode. This is very
I'm good again.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Welcome back. All right. I heard you, but you lost us. You couldn't hear. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Okay. No worries. So I was saying you listed three. You listed Doge, you listed Shiba, you listed Cardano, and it sounds like Cardano is making its way. Chelsea Mack has a question. Ripple, Iota.
I listed those as stuff that I don't invest in. You do your own research.
Let's be clear. Yeah. Those are the ones we talked about. He said, let's be clear. He does not invest in those, but I just wanted to, because they're out there, because they're cheaper coins, right? And so people who didn't get in on Bitcoin or Ethereum, they're looking for a coin that they can ride up. I believe, and I feel like that's why these are so popular, right? You can spend $20 and you can get all of these units. Or so. Let me back.
It's called. I mean, that's the term unit bias because it costs like fractions of a fraction of a penny. You kind of in your mind are like, oh, well, if this goes up to. Even if this goes up to $20, then I could be a millionaire. Oh,
exactly.
But it doesn't work like that, because if you look at the actual market cap of the coin, which means what's the value of all of the coins out there, in order for it to do that, you would be worth more than gold, and gold is a $10 trillion market cap, so that means that's impossible for your coin to ever get to these sort of price levels that you would want it to get to. But that's one thing you really want to look out for.
So to keep that in mind. So then what's your take on Ripple, Iota, and Litecoin based on use case? And
Litecoin, I had some. I don't have it anymore. I just look at it as like a test net for Bitcoin. Any feature that they want to try on Bitcoin, try it on Litecoin first, but I don't use it for anything. Ripple, same thing. I don't see a use case in it for me. I mean, of course, they have their use cases, but so for me, I like going back to smart contract platforms. I like smart contract platforms, and I mainly like it because I can go to a site and actually use it and test it out myself. With like Litecoin, I'm depending on somebody to accept it as payment. Ripple is a coin that banks are going to be using to transfer value to one another. I'm not a bank. I have no use for the coin. There's no site that I could go onto and use it, at least not to my knowledge. I know they were working on some smart contract functionality with Flare Network, but I haven't seen much traction in that. Iota, I remember Iota from 2017, and I just never kept up with it. So, and here's one thing to note as well. back in 2017 earlier days, it was very you could keep up on everything going on in crypto. In 2021, that's impossible. There's just so many different avenues that you can learn and get into. Like me, I focus mostly on decentralized finance, DeFi for short, and NFTs, social tokens, DAO. So pretty much the Ethereum ecosystem and the smart contract ecosystem. And outside of that, it's Bitcoin. That's really what I focus on, but mostly in like that decentralized finance area, because I like decentralized finance, or DeFi for short, because it gives you access to banking services without the bank. So this is like a demonstration of what smart contracts are capable of. So there are exchanges that I can go to trade, and there is no Fidelity or whoever in the background. It's just pieces of code. There are smart contracts that allow you to borrow and lend money without having to go to a bank. And these are, especially like when I think about financial exclusion that has been happening because of, centralized authorities. You go into a bank and, for whatever reason, they don't want to give you a loan or anything like that. When you have the loan actually being controlled by code and not by people, you're more likely to get a fair deal. It is what it is as written in the code. So that's why I like decentralized finance. So that's kind of my breakdown. I felt like I was rambling there a bit, but.
Well, no, because that was going to be one of my questions. If you could talk about why decentralized versus centralized. Centralized is our current banking system. Is that correct? Our current financial system. And it's
Correct.
regulated and all the hoopla and drama that goes with, like you said, financing and.
Yeah. And I like decentralized finance, like the DeFi ecosystem. It's like you get access to the same types of services and assets that these big banks have, but without the regulation, in a sense,
Got it.
So
Do you think that the government is going to end up regulating this? Because I know that's been kind of the conversation. Like there's the move.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation around that. And I mean, I understand why, because it threatens the existing system, and then, the financial institutions, they're aware of it as well. Like they're figuring out how to compete with this. So they're anything that you can do to try to kind of slow it down is what they'll do, which is what we're seeing now with the new SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, and a lot of the actions that has taken recently in terms of going after a lot of the decentralized finance platforms.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where this is going to go in the future. I'm excited to be learning about it in this phase. I feel empowered by the information that I'm receiving. And I feel like it's important for our people, like you said, for all of the reasons why we have issues with banking and getting loans and things. It's going to be clutch for us. Okay, Danielle wants to know any actionable items that you would suggest if a person is interested in getting crypto?
Yeah, learning. Learning is the number one thing you can do. Study it and really understand what you're getting into. Understand that, like I said before, if you want to self-custody, there's a responsibility that comes along with that. Even in terms of ensuring that, if something happens to you, your family's able to get to those assets. Because I've heard stories of like people having their assets off of the exchange. They have their private keys, but they didn't tell anybody. Unfortunately, something happened and their family wasn't able to get to it. So
that's tragic.
Just understanding, what you're getting into when it comes to this. And also, like I said, just reading, following the news, reading as much as you can, following reputable people and gaining quality knowledge, and don't get caught up in it's going to go up 10,000% buy now, stay away from that, and understand that with the bull markets, things go up fast. With the bear markets, things go down really fast. So be prepared for that eventuality and keep that in mind when investing. But
what kind
you
of
want to
market
zoom
are
out
we
and
in?
look at the long term.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say zoom out and look at the long term. I was just going to end with that.
Yeah, for sure. So then what would you say the market is now, bull or bear, as it relates to
I think we're in a long-term bull market, but like short-term bearish. Well, the prices have been up today, but I'm still, yeah, it's long-term bull market,
okay.
I would say.
Any tips on how to figure out how to get in if you're not sure, if you're pretty new?
Well, like tell everybody, if you're going to start out with something that you're comfortable investing. And I would say before you get into anything else, I would start out with Bitcoin or Ethereum. Those are the two I would say start out with, just to make sure that you don't want to like put it in like Shiba and then it goes up and then it just crashes right back down. You're like, I just lost all the money that I invested.
Facts.
And then another thing is like invest what you're willing to lose, because I mean that goes with anything, stocks, real estate, anything.
What about determining price points?
Oh, determining price points. So I don't really do much trading. Like my strategy is just look at a moving average and just, use that. That's what I do. But I'm very simple, and I dollar cost average, and I do mostly long term. So if I am jumping into another asset that I like, then I'll, look at some other things. Like I'm learning how to use fib levels, but it's usually like moving average, Bollinger Bands or something like that. And I find the price. It's very unsophisticated, very, very rudimentary.
Not necessarily looking at charts or anything like.
Yeah, I'm not in charts that much. I'm more of a developer, so I like building. Yeah.
Okay. And then Rod Gipp, you talked about Cardano, but can you talk about Cardano and Ethereum, or Cardano versus Ethereum a little more? Anything else you want to say about that?
Sure. So Cardano, I mean, they're both smart contract platforms. Ethereum is the number one. There's nobody close at the moment in terms of the amount of money on the network, the amount of innovation happening on the network. Ethereum is by far number one. And there are other smart contract platforms that are faster, that are cheaper to transact on. But for right now, Ethereum is the king of that smart contract platform race. Okay. When it comes to Cardano, it's one of what they call Ethereum killers, one of these platforms that they say are going to overtake Ethereum in the future. I mean, but I would say Cardano, because they just released smart contracts, are behind a lot of others. So like, Solana, Avalanche, Luna, those are other smart contract platforms that we don't hear people talk much about. But if you look at Solana like just had a crazy, run up in price. So, and then even if you look at Luna and Avalanche, look at those smart contract platforms, like we've seen great price action from them for the past couple of months as well. Yeah.
And then are there any that we should look out for? Maybe, like you said, 2022, like look out, don't sleep on whatever.
I would say, just continue to follow the smart contract platforms, because so I'll take Ethereum, for example, right? Ethereum it does well, but because they have smart contracts and applications on top of Ethereum, those applications on top of Ethereum also have their own tokens. For example, Uniswap, which is one of the decentralized exchanges built on top of Ethereum, they have their own coin. So if you're focusing on the smart contract platform, you'll also be following the news of everything that's happening on it, which means you may be able to get access to new coins. So like I said, for Ethereum, you have Uniswap, which is an exchange. You have Aave, which allows you to do borrowing and lending. So I would say just, look into anything to do with smart contracts. Outside of that, what am I? I'm looking into decentralized autonomous organizations, but that's sort of a different level of, I wouldn't even say investing, but it's just a way of coordinating human capital in order to create value and distribute resources.
Hmm. Okay, this
So
is
when
gonna
I
be
go into that, I'm going deep into theory, not theory, but really deep in the weeds. And
okay.
yeah,
So we'll just have to keep up with you to keep learning more. And then as we, we're winding down in time, the time goes really quickly. So we're going to kind of do some speed rounds with some questions here. So is it recommended to follow the DeFi ecosystem every day?
I do. I definitely follow it every day. Yeah. So like one site I go to is DeFi Llama. That's DEFI Llama, LLAMA, DeFi Llama. Another one is DeFi Pulse. That's DEFI Pulse, PULSE. And the Defiant, which I mentioned earlier, which is a YouTube channel that you can go to check out some videos. They have tutorials on there. Bankless, which is another great one. So I definitely, I follow DeFi all the time.
Okay. So we have to stay in the loop. Now, this is one that I wanted to bring up because I remember having this discussion, I think in Crypto Club, or maybe Ethereum Classic came up in a conversation. Adriana Morales asked, well, she said Ethereum. She didn't ask. She said Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. What are your thoughts on Ethereum Classic?
Ethereum Classic, well, for those who don't know, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic were all one at one point. And then there was a hack that happened, a smart contract hack. The network wasn't hacked. It was a specific smart contract called a DAO. And there was a decision made to roll back the transaction, which was a very contentious decision. So that caused a split in that blockchain. So you have Ethereum and you have Ethereum Classic. Ethereum was the blockchain where they rolled back the transaction, and Ethereum Classic was the one where they kept that hack in place. And we kind of see what happened. Like we have everything being built on Ethereum, decentralized finance, NFTs, social tokens, DAOs, everything being built on Ethereum. But Ethereum Classic you don't really see much being built on it. You just kind of wait around and wait for a bull market for the price to go up to be able to trade it and make some money.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's about it. So Ethereum, like you said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yes, he did. She asked if you missed it. Which platform would you suggest to invest in crypto? So you listed 3, but just for now, what's the one, if you're new, what's the one that you would say it would be the safest and easiest to use?
I would say Coinbase is the easiest to use, and they have some educational material on there as well. So if you're brand new, that's one that I would recommend.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yes, Adriana, very good information. And for the newbies out there and those who, I still consider myself a newbie, I do appreciate this level of knowledge. You've given us some tools, some information, so we can continue to dig deeper. Now, is there anything in your mind of how it works in this crypto space that I didn't ask you that you think is important to share at this time as it relates to a new investor in this space?
For new people, I would say, be curious about the space and sort of look at things beyond just, expecting a 10,000% return in 2 days or 3 days. Look at what the long-term prospects of this technology have in store. Because when you look at the long term and you invest now, that's when you get your best returns. Full stop.
Okay, good deal. All right. Well, again, we appreciate your time. And again, tell your daughter I said thank you so much for for lending her dad to us so you could have this important conversation. You're doing an important work for the culture. And again, make sure you tune in and check him out. Like you said, he's going to be doing some more videos that are going to help us. And watch this. If you're just now tuning in, go back, catch the replay. Make sure you share this with your friends. I think it'll give you some starting knowledge and some other resources and places to go. And in the West African definition of the word ashe, we have the power to speak a thing into existence. We choose to create and destroy with our words. I'm hoping that you're choosing to create. This platform was designed as such. And as you go out tonight, make sure you share the information and do something good for yourself. Read, educate yourself, and continue to move the culture forward. Good night.